So in this explainer, we're going to dig into a question that's, well, it's pretty fundamental for every single parent and educator out there. How do we raise good human beings? And right at the very heart of that question is one absolutely essential skill: compassion.
And really, it all boils down to this. How do we actually teach our kids to genuinely care about other people? Because, let's be honest, it's not something that just magically happens. It's a skill. And it's a skill that needs to be actively nurtured. So, let's break down exactly how we can do that. First things first, before we can teach these values, we've got to be crystal clear on what we're actually talking about. So, we're going to start with the two core concepts that, get confused all the time: compassion and empathy. Okay, and this right here is a really, really important distinction. We tend to use compassion and empathy like they're the same thing, but they're not. To put it simply, compassion is the desire to help, while empathy is the ability to understand what someone else is going through. One is about action, the other is about understanding. Let's look a little closer at compassion. The key word here, for sure, is active. It's not just about feeling sorry for someone. It's that spark, that motivation to actually do something about their situation. It's that gut instinct that asks, okay, how can I help? And then, on the other side of the coin, you've got empathy. This is really about the skill of putting yourself in someone else's shoes. It's about recognizing that, hey, even if our lives look totally different, we all share these same fundamental human experiences. Think of empathy as the foundation that compassion is built right on top of. Okay, so we've got our definitions down. We know what we're aiming for. But the big question is still hanging in the air. How do we actually build these values in our kids, day in and day out? You know, the first and honestly most powerful tool we have, it's just talking. Seriously. Meaningful dialogue is the soil where the seeds of empathy and compassion are first planted. And this is great because it lays out 4 really practical ways to get that conversation going. We can ask them to reflect on their own feelings, or we can use the world around us, nature, animals, to talk about the needs of other living things. We can tap into the incredible power of storytelling. Or we can just start making words like caring and kindness a normal part of how we talk every single day. And check this out. This is a perfect example of that storytelling piece in action. A simple line from a poem like this can open up a huge conversation. You can ask, why do you think the rabbit was so afraid? Or how do you think it felt when someone was finally kind? It just makes a big abstract feeling like fear totally real and understandable for a kid. Okay, let's shift gears a little bit and take this into the classroom. Schools are these amazing social laboratories where these skills can be practiced and strengthened every single day. And there are just so many cool, creative ways to bring this to life. Using things like feeling faces helps kids put a name to an emotion, taking care of a class pet teaches real responsibility for another living being, and setting up play areas like a little doctor's office, that's basically empathy practice. It's a chance to act out caring for someone who's hurt. And you know what holds all of these activities together? It's this one simple but super powerful idea. You can call it the golden rule. You can do whatever you want as long as it doesn't hurt yourself or anyone else. This one sentence gives kids freedom, but it also sets this clear, compassionate boundary that keeps everyone safe. Now, for the older kids, we can give them some more advanced tools, right? This 3-step process for making peace is huge. It teaches them to see a disagreement not as a fight to be won, but as a problem to be solved together, with respect for each other. That's a game changer. Oh, and I love this idea, the compassion crew. It's so smart because it taps into the power of positive reinforcement. When you publicly recognize and reward even just one act of kindness, you're not just making that one kid feel good, you're sending a message to the entire community about what's important. It shifts the whole focus from avoiding bad behavior to actively looking for ways to do good. All right, so now let's bring all this great stuff back home. Because what happens at school is so important, but it really has to be echoed and supported by what's happening within the family. And guess what? Just like in the classroom, it really boils down to those small, consistent actions you do every day. Simple things like modeling respect for all life, even if it's just catching a spider and putting it outside instead of squishing it. Or just talking openly about the feelings of characters in a movie you're watching. It can even be as simple as getting them involved in gathering old toys for charity so they can feel what it's like to help somebody else. And with older children, you can really level up these conversations. Volunteering is amazing because it lets them see complex social issues up close. And talking about things like family dynamics, like how being the oldest or youngest child changes your experience, well, that's practically a masterclass in seeing the world from a different perspective.
Wow, okay, so we've covered a ton of ground, haven't we? From the definitions all the way to real practical things you can do at school and at home. So, what's the big takeaway from all of this?
If there is just one thing you walk away with, please let it be this. Compassion and empathy are not fixed personality traits. They are skills. And just like any muscle in your body, they can be trained and strengthened through practice. Small, consistent practice every single day.
And that really brings us right to our final thought. This isn't just about learning something new, it's an invitation to do something new. Looking at everything we've talked about, what's that one small conversation, that one simple activity you can start with to begin building that compassion muscle today?